was your favorite class?
I would have to say, besides Spanish with Senor Alvarez, it would have to be English with Mr. Steed.
Why?
Because his was one of the few classes that he actually forced us to study all the time. And he was rather engaging.
Was he your favorite teacher?
Yes, he was one of them.
One of them?
Yes.
What were others?
Mr. Spires was another one of my favorites. He social studies. He coached baseball and basketball when I was there.
What kind of extracurricular activities did you participate in?
Co-ed volleyball. I got in trouble. I participated in baseball and basketball for 4 years, and football for 3 games my sophomore year.
Why only 3 games?
Well, and if you're listening, Mr. Pearl, I apologize, but they didn't coach us on how to play football. What they did was they made us run 100-yard dash sprints the length of the field for every point we lost by.
Ooh.
So the first game we lost 14-0, then the next game it was 21-0, then the next game it was 42-0, and that was the 3rd week. And the next week we played Joliet Catholic. So every night we would get out, we'd put on our gear, and we would line up at the end zone, and we'd lose by 42, so down and back was 1. So every night we would run 42 of those, the entire length of the football field. By the time we were done, practice was over. We did that every day for an entire week before the game. So you go into a game, and we only ran 3 plays. So at that point, I was nominated by a bunch of guys on the team to talk to the coach because they knew that I would. And so I talked to the coach, and I was told I would never play again. And I said, well, if I'm not going to play, then I'm just going to go and quit and work out for basketball.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite hangout spot?
Well, we used to kind of like to try to congregate around the back. Rosie, get down. Down. Used to like to try to hang out around the back of the gymnasium, but that was also the place where a lot of the other groups at the time we were there, we called them the freaks. They used to like to smoke, whatever drugs they could attempt to try. That was where they hung out. So other than that, we hung out in the old cafeteria.
Old cafeteria in the A building?
I don't even know what the A building is.
Oh, okay.
It's the building, the old cafeteria is over by where the workshop and the auto.
Yep.
Yeah.
A building.
A building.
A building.
We didn't have letters back then.
What did the school look like when you went there?
It looked vaguely familiar, except it didn't have is it the freshman, sophomore, or the freshman wing in the front on the west side? It didn't have that. It didn't have the big circular cafeteria. It did not have the large field house, and it did not have the red painting around. But otherwise, it looked almost the same. Less trees. The athletic fields were a little bit flip-flopped. Where the varsity softball field is now, that was where the freshman softball field was. And where the varsity baseball field was, that was where the sophomores played. The varsity was behind, closer to the football field, closer to the gym.
All right.
Pretty much the same.
What was your most embarrassing moment?
When on senior awards night, I won most obnoxious of my class, and I didn't even really realize that I had that opportunity to win that. So that was fairly embarrassing. I won a hockey puck.
You won a hockey puck?
Yes, there was a comedian back in the day, Don Rickles was his name, and he used to call people who were really kind of obnoxious hockey pucks.
Oh.
So I got a hockey puck. Me and another girl named Maria Rafak.
That's funny. So, what kind of trouble did you get yourself into?
I got 3 referrals in my 4 years. First one was freshman year for throwing gum. Second one was sophomore year for swearing in class. But the dean for the day was Craig Spires, so I didn't get in trouble. I just got a warning. And then my senior year, I got another one for swearing in class. And the dean for the day was again Craig Spires, who was the coach, and so I got another warning. So those were really the 3 times I got in trouble.
Were there any good senior pranks?
Yes. We used to do a lot of pranks to the men at the Hill, where we used to do things like paint their door to the building pink, paint the door to the gyms pink, and they in turn would do things to us. Like they used to have courtyards between the gym and the classroom area, the long hallways, and now there are offices, but they used to just be courtyards. In the courtyard was the Tiger, which I think now is down by the theater.
The auditorium?
Yes.
That was in the courtyard?
That was in the courtyard,
Oh.
and they got ladders, and they put the ladders and climbed up and over and painted the Tiger pink. So then we in turn burned in the football field at Memorial Stadium. I hope the statute of limitations is still good. We burned in the grass, JC sucks in the grass.
Oh.
So that when they played the next football game, we all went to it, of course, so we could see from the 50-yard line, it covered probably about 30 yards.
All right, final question.
Okay.
What was your favorite memory from high school?
I would have to say, at the end of our senior year, our baseball team was pretty good, and we went to state and we made it to the Final Four, but we didn't win it. But my favorite memory was just being down there with all those guys, because we had a great time. It was a really good time. Mr. Spires, he was our coach.
Of course.
Really good guy. Really good guy.